5-star quality rating. That's the truth. There's no fake news about it. Sean Fadale is in. He's the president and chief executive officer with Community Memorial Hospital, and the only hospital in New York State with this 5-star quality rating. That's something we're going to talk about. Good morning, Sean. How are you?
Doing well. Thank you very much for having me this morning.
And the truth is the truth when it comes to what we're talking about this morning, huh? There's no beating around the bush on this one. So, Sean, why don't you tell us a little bit about Community Memorial Hospital? Where's it located? And then get right into this, because this is interesting. As we talk about healthcare often, I think, in many different aspects on this show, with a 5-star rating and the only one in New York State, it's probably good for our listeners to hear what's going on in our community when it comes to healthcare, right?
Well, Community Memorial Hospital is located in Hamilton, New York, so about 45 minutes from here. Mm-hmm. It's a critical access organization. We're 25 beds. We've been in existence for over 65 years, and it's a pretty special place. The one thing that you mentioned is we are the only organization with a 5-star rating for our patient experience or patient satisfaction. Mm-hmm. I think when people look at healthcare, quality's implied. They feel that when they go to receive health care, they should get good quality health care wherever they go. And there's many good organizations in the region. But it's the experience. It's how patients are treated. It is how they perceive the care that they've received that is really important. It is with any industry that you're providing a service, we want to make sure those individuals, when they come to those patients come to our organization, they not only get the great care that they expect, mm-hmm. but they also get great service as well.
And Sean, I want to let's tie that together a little bit. Maybe you can expand on it. You mentioned that, and I think that's the first thing that people talk about, maybe when they leave or when they walk in, their experience as far as how comfortable they feel or they seem, that perceived comfort level, as you mentioned. But how does that actually tie into the quality of care and how long their stay might be, or how long it might take for them to actually get better from something or heal from something?
Well, there's actually two components to that, Jason. One is perception is reality. Mm-hmm. And if you come in and even if you are given fantastic care, but you're treated poorly, mm-hmm. you may leave feeling that was a bad experience. Or I didn't maximize my potential and the outcome of even if it's testing or surgery or whatever. Mm-hmm. But if you come in, you not only receive the good care, but you're treated well, and you feel that the people cared. That when you came in the door, of how you're feeling, how you're doing, how your family's doing as they're going through the process. Because in healthcare, really no one wants to be there. That's the tough part of our business. When you go to most service industries, people choose to go there because they want to go. Mm-hmm. Healthcare is because you have an issue. You may be upset. You may be frightened. But to come in, feel comfortable, for us to be, put you in a situation where you're relaxed, you can feel like you're going to maximize your efforts around the care you're receiving, whether it's testing or surgery. We feel that being able to deliver that care in a compassionate way will help maximize the outcomes for that patient.
Sean, the award, it says for quality rating for hospital consumer assessment of healthcare. Mm-hmm. Is this based upon the surveys that are conducted of the patients and family members or whoever? And I want to ask you that.
Yep.
When they have completed their experience in your hospital,
yes.
Is that the criteria, the assessment of the patients or the people who come in?
Yeah, Mark, that's exactly right. So if someone has come into our organization, predominantly this is for inpatient care, so they've spent at least a night in our organization. Every organization, but a vast majority of the organizations across the country participate in a CMS, or the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services survey around patient experience called HCAHPS. I tell you what HCAHPS means, but it's a lot of words. I could look it up for you real quick.
It's the Hospital Consumer Assessment of Healthcare Providers System. Was that what you were talking about?
Yes, exactly. Okay. And that is a measure of patient satisfaction. So every patient in our organization that has had inpatient care will receive a survey. They will do the survey. They will submit it. And what's great is the vast majority of hospitals across the state and across the nation participate in this as a condition of participation with Medicare.
So I just want to be clear. There's not an assessment team that comes in and does an assessment of the hospital. It's not a quality review board. This is strictly based on patient surveys when they've completed their stay in your facility.
Correct.
Is that right?
Correct.
And you have, I think you mentioned at the beginning, you have 25 beds here, correct?
Yep.
So that's a fairly small facility compared to larger. Is all of this compared to like those hospitals that have like 200, 300 beds?
Absolutely.
And you're the only, so even compared to all those bigger hospitals, you're the only 5-star
Correct.
Facility.
Which I think is absolutely amazing. I mean, the star rating for CMS began in 2016. And since its inception, Community Memorial Hospital has always rated very well with our patient satisfaction and our overall outcomes. So when we look at ourselves compared to our peers in the region, in the state, in the beginning we rated, we were the only 4-star rated organization in the region. We intentionally set a goal of getting to 5-star, and we made it. And what's great about that is everyone in the region is being graded the same way we are.
Sure.
But it allows us to separate ourselves a little bit from our peer groups as well as some of the larger places because we were able to get there. We're able to make those moves to get to that 5-star.
I was looking at some of the criteria and some of the things that you're surveyed on: communications between nurses and communications with doctors, cleanliness, overall hospital environment. Just some of the things that some of the patients look at when it comes to the. Oh, sorry, Mark. I just make sure. I'll fix it during the break. You pull the microphone right down.
I'm assuming that a lot of this is dependent upon the interaction between the staff and the patient.
Correct.
That's got to be a big factor.
That is a huge driving factor.
So I'm also going to assume that you conduct seminars or programs with your staff where you emphasize the importance of their interaction with the patient. Mm-hmm. What are you doing right? What are you doing with your staff that perhaps isn't being done by other staff in other hospitals or perhaps any other business? What do you do to get your staff to behave the way they are behaving so that you get these positive results in these surveys?
Yeah, how can you mimic
tell us what you're doing right.
Yeah. Well, and again, I wish that there was a secret sauce because it would be something that would be, you'd go out and sell. But right. It's a combination of things. One is we make a very concerted effort to hire the right people. Any kind of job, any job market out there is challenging these days. But we make sure we take the time to get the right people on board that will make a difference. Two is we do training. We do education for our staff, and we are very transparent with the data. Our HCAP scores come out on a monthly basis. And when we intentionally set the goal at the beginning of 2017 to get to a 5-star rated organization, we share every month our scores with our staff, understand where we're doing well, understand where we have opportunity, and we have set benchmarks to say, here's where we need to be, how can we do it? And we get frontline staff and our patients involved in our performance improvement around our satisfaction. So we meet regularly about it, we get our feedback, we establish plans, and we execute well. So staff leadership, our medical staff, our board of directors, our volunteers, everyone is committed to a course of action. And we're making sure we communicate that very, very openly.
And do you provide incentives to your employees if they do well?
We give a lot of pats on the back. Unfortunately, the healthcare being the business that it is, it's tough to have the capital to incent for satisfaction. But we do a lot of celebration around our staff.
Well, Sean, congratulations, Sean Fadale. He's the president and chief executive officer with Community Memorial Hospital in Hamilton, and only hospital in New York State with a 5-star rating. Just looking through, out of the 140 46 New York State hospitals evaluated, and there were 18 others that received the 4-star rating, and then they started going down from there. So congratulations again for 60-plus years in the community. And I want to point out, you have other service. You provide services through the other networks throughout the area, right? Hamilton, Cazenovia, Morrisville, Waterville, just to name a few of the other communities that you guys service, right?
Correct. And even though we're a 25-bed organization, we do very high-end orthopedic work there. We have great general surgeons. We have pediatricians. We have pulmonology. We have a great cardiologist. So it's not
urgent care, right?
Urgent care. So even though we're small, and we may not do a ton, what we do exceptionally well. Mm-hmm. And so, I would invite folks that if they're struggling with their current healthcare provider, look us up. We encourage patients to come down, and it may be a little trip, but it's a beautiful drive.
Sure. Sean, what's the best place for folks to find you if they want to learn more about Community Memorial?
They would go to our website at www.communitymemorial.org.
All right, Sean, that's fine. That works. All right, we're going to throw that up on our website. Again, congratulations. It's great having the only hospital in New York State receiving such high awards, and it's right in our backyard. Sean, come back. Tell us more. All right?
Will do. Thank you, gentlemen, very much.